Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Mindy, back again here to talk about ENFPs. So today the subject is going to be how is it like to be an ENFP. So I want to give you a glimpse of what happens inside the mind of an ENFP if you're not an ENFP. But if you're an ENFP yourself, so you feel yourself comfortable, welcome, because maybe you're gonna recognize yourself here or not. So you can also leave your comments below. So let's dive in. I have a little list, so you would see me looking kind of there. So number one, we can help it. We can't help it, but to see the patterns and connect them constantly. And I will try to explain what do I mean when I say this. So the ENFP is constantly connecting the dots. This is the best way I can explain this. So this is actually the base of who the ENFP is. The ENFP is led by Extroverted Intuition. And actually, I was so happy when I learned about MBTI, when I was like, whoa, this is it. This is why I am connecting the dots all the time. I'm myself an ENFP, so I can talk about this firsthand. So what the ENFP does all the time is like, no matter what they're doing, they're reading something, they're talking with someone, they are watching a movie, they go out in the world, they see that things happen, everything is just like the material that they're going to use in order to connect that information with another information. It's as if the ENFP has a lot of unresolved businesses in their head. It's like as if, how can I represent this? As if the ENFP has a lot of conversation that they started at some point for themselves inside the conversations of they were trying to understand something. Imagine the ENFP opens a lot of folders in their head, and that's one subject and another subject and another subject. And whenever they go out in the world, or whenever they receive this data input from conversations, seeing people around and movies and everything, it's always kind of connecting with something that it's already happening in one of those folders, basically. And it feels like, or it seems like for the ENFP, is like they are building up constantly understanding and concepts of anything in the world. It can be the world itself. Maybe this is a bit too abstract if you're not familiar with what I'm saying, but it feels like, yeah, there is like building up these worlds, building up understanding, and in the end, even if it's building up little concepts, it's all about building up an understanding of the reality and of the world. And this is what the ENFP does all the time. Like, I notice in my own case, it's just happening. No matter what I'm doing, no matter if I am watching a YouTube film, if I find something flying around, it's all about making connections. And the connections, it's called by MBTI as patterns. So we are seeing the patterns, we're seeing what is repeated, what's not repeated, what can connect with this other information I heard before. And in the end, what we will do with all of that broad information that we have is that we will build up an understanding. So that's why the ENFP is like called prospecting. It's because of the extroverted intuition that is a prospecting type. So what that means is like we will be gathering information and being fed by all of these data that we receive, as I said, through many ways. Can be talking with people or films or books or anything. Really, anything can be something flying around. That's the data. And in the end, we will, this is number two, then we will synthesize. So the ENFP is actually great at synthesizing big chunks of information. It's like we have this capacity, the ENFP has a capacity of making connections, rapid connections of patterns. Actually, I was the other day talking with my INFJ friend, and she was saying like, I cannot understand how is it possible that you come and tell me this about my type, because she's an INFJ. And she's like, but you have read so much, you have studied also so much, and you talk to people, you put things on your channel, you read comments, and in the end, it's like you mix all of that, she said, and then you come up with this understanding. And it's like, yeah, this is true. This is the ENFP nature, and this is also another thing that is related to the extroverted intuition. This is actually, as I say in all the videos, that dominant is the real core of what a person is. And no matter what personality you are, look at what your dominant is, and that's where you're gonna look at, okay, this is really what's happening inside of my head. So we can look at lots of information, and of course we're not going to make a decision soon after, but there is going to be a point, a moment after all that prospection into all of the data of that extroverted intuition, looking at patterns and stuff, that we're going to come and synthesize, and we can make a pretty good job at synthesizing stuff. So yeah, that's what it's all about. The ENFP world, if I can explain to you, is like looking at data, connecting the dots, and trying to find an understanding that doesn't come sometimes soon, but sometimes it comes soon after, and then we synthesize, and then we can put it with our own worlds, and we will explain it to the outer world, and we will build up a sort of new concept. Actually, that's what I do with my YouTube channel, so you know. That's how I come here and sit down and talk to people, to talk to all of you. It's because of all of the interactions I have had with the different types, with my family, all of the study and hours of studies I pour into the Myers-Briggs and cognitive functions as well. So yeah, that's number 2. Number 3, another thing of how is it to be an ENFP is, even when the ENFP goes down and touch rock bottom, soon after they can always find their way back up to being positive. And it's again extroverted intuition. I mean, look, if you are looking at this video thinking maybe you're an ESFP or an ENFP, this is a clear way to differentiate them, to tell them apart. The ENFP is pure intuition, the ESFP is pure sensing. And the things that I'm saying are related to extroverted intuition. Okay, so whenever the ENFP is going through a rough time, whenever they're having a moment of brokenness, whenever they're facing the end of a season in their life, they're going to mourn. They're going to go through a mourning period. Yes, that's true. But because of this capacity that they have, it's not a capacity, it just happens to see things from different perspectives and to brainstorm kind of onto that situation. They would look soon after that it cannot be that bad. They will come up with a conclusion that it cannot be, it cannot stay like that forever, because everything is changing and everything is moving. And they will look at that situation from different point of view. So the ENFP would feel, yes, broken, and will feel depressed, and will have all of that, and probably that's the moment when they are fixated in their introverted sensing, which is like kind of putting their intuition aside, and they're just looking inside their own heads, and they're looking into the past, and they're looking into the present, but they're not looking into the future. That is what the extroverted intuition is doing. So the nature of the ENFP is looking into the future, looking into the possibilities, and that would make, in turn, them someone who can soon after always find the way back up into the positivism, and to seeing that there is a way out, even if it's a single mother with 4 children, that the husband died, and that she's unemployed, and that she gets no benefits. I don't know, whatever the situation is, she will probably find her way up to, first of all, seeing the future, seeing the probabilities, and then after that she will slowly find her way back up into action, because that's what the ENFP does. Number 4, the ENFP needs a lot of solitude, yes, as well as lots of interaction with people. So the ENFP is not the typical extrovert sensor kind of, though it's going to be looking all the time into the sensorial world and doing things. The ENFP will need a lot of that solitude or downtime in order to filter through and go through that process of the extroverted intuition. Even for young ENFPs or people who don't know about MBTI, they will do it, but they are not aware that they are doing this kind of process while they are in solitude and in their homes doing basically nothing. So they need both of that. If the ENFP does not get the solitude time, they would start feeling like they will hate seeing people basically. So the only way they can keep loving people and keep being people's people is if they have the solitude time. The solitude time will feel like, yes, it's a balance. And you can say, yeah, they're ambivert, so they need both. But the reality is the ENFP gets super energized when they are around people. And this is not because the ENFP needs the people per se. It's because of the input that these people would do in them. So the input would be the conversations they're having. Not even the conversation. Sometimes it's just seeing that person doing, let's say you visit a friend and the friend is busy with the children, doing something in the kitchen. All of that thing that a person is doing, even if they're not interacting with the ENFP, will give the ENFP this new input and data and the opportunity to connect the dots, see patterns, and keep understanding the world, keep building up understanding, and keep narrowing down, and keep in the end synthesizing information to build up a new concept. So it's in the end, you see, even if they love people, they do love people, but they love honestly that interaction and that they feed on their extroverted intuition. And lastly, the ENFP feels like they are people's and we love people. ENFPs love people. And I think the reason why many people feel like we make them feel good about themselves, because yeah, we come and whenever they're feeling low, and then we look at their situation from not a better perspective, but from the NE perspective kind of, and we would brainstorm and we do, like, it's all about extroverted intuition. So we will brainstorm and we will see, like, this person is saying, oh, I'm an idiot because I could have done it this way. But then we look into the patterns. Can be also from the past, what she's done. She's not an idiot. She's not always been an idiot. And we can see how she will always get out of that situation where she or he is, you know. We will see, because we can see the patterns. It's just that. And then we will tell them, okay, no, I know you will do it. I don't know. And we will help them think through the situation. And that's what makes people feel like, oh, the ENFP listens to me and the ENFP sees me and all of that. Is because, yes, we see them, but we see their potential and we see their way out whenever they don't see it. I think, yeah, that's, and when we're with someone, actually, this is the last one, and people say like, yeah, I feel very seen and stuff like that. It's because we pay attention to what they're saying and what they're doing, because we're trying to connect the dots. So people, it's all about connecting the dots and seeing patterns. So we do that subconsciously all the time, continuously, and it might sound very tiring for some personality types, but this is just what comes naturally. So now, if you're an ENFP, I want to read your comments below. Have you any of these 5 characteristics I mentioned here? If you're an INTJ or any other personality type with ENFPs in your life, I want you to leave your comments and tell me, what do you think about what I said? Have you thought of it this way as well? And don't forget that you can buy me coffee, and check the links below so you can support my channel, be in touch with me, have one-on-one consultations with me. And, Jesus Christ, I now have to say, I have to stop now. Like my video and subscribe, please. See you next time.